Deb Fisher says, it's a long time until the next election, but it starts now. And if you truly want to see things change in the direction that our country is headed, you have to stay involved. You cannot quit now. Exercise your franchise by going out to vote for credible leaders. Your vote counts. Hello and thanks for joining us on another episode of The Eagle. My name is Aisha Mohammed.
Imagine a society where everything works. Durable road networks, stable electricity supply, portable water, well-equipped and functional healthcare facilities, quality education for all, affordable housing schemes, social security benefits, job creation and a lot more that makes life comfortable to live. That is an ideal society. We can only achieve these if we all play our part. Say no to corruption to enjoy these benefits. Kill corruption to save Nigeria. This message is from the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC.
On the program today, Nigeria to lose $4.5 billion in Malabo oil deal as EFCC receives findings from experts. EFCC Interpol signs MOU. Mago charges professionals on illicit financial flows. EFCC warns against misuse of public funds for elections, and Mago charges youths in Oyo, Edo, Delta to be anti-corruption ambassadors. Please stay tuned as details of this report will come your way shortly. The acting chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission EFCC, Ibrahim Mustafa Magu, has given assurances that the commission is reviving its investigations into the Malabo oil scandal and those found wanting will be prosecuted. Magu gave the assurance while receiving some documents from the President, Resource for Development Consulting, Don Hubbard, at the EFCC headquarters in Jabi, Abuja. Kamali Gebi has the details.
An extractive industries analyst, Hubert, analyzed the terms and conditions for the sale of the controversial oil prospecting lease OPL 245, otherwise known as Malabo Oil Block, to Shell and ENI. In the report, Hubert pointed out that at least one-third of the value of the oil block, which comes from fiscal concessions in the 2011 Resolution Agreement (RA) between Nigeria and the operators of the oil block, essentially takes away oil profit from the government and the Nigerian people. According to the Canada-based analyst, the organization has helped countries rich in oil and gas to get a fair share of the revenue, analyze oil contracts, and build economic model and ultimately forecast government revenue. Hubert stressed that the 2011 Resolution Agreement will result in the loss of revenue to the Nigerian people and government to the tune of at least $4.5 billion. He said, the reason for the losses is the core of a production sharing contract. The share of profit to the government has been removed from this particular deal. Explaining further, he said, as it stands today, Nigeria will lose between $6 billion and $10 billion to the deal, which is now being investigated outside Nigeria. He stated that the result of their findings indicate that an estimate minimum loss of $4.5 billion as a result of the 2011 deal has occurred.
I think that we've added a whole new dimension to the debate over OPL 245. We now know that under a set of assumptions about how much oil might be produced and how much it would cost to produce that oil, that the people of Nigeria have likely lost at least $4.5 billion from this deal.
Receiving the report, Magu promised that the report will be thoroughly studied and dealt with accordingly. He said, the Commission shall constitute a committee to digest it so that investigation can be extended to all grey areas and charges brought or amended against the suspects. The EFCC boss added that the agency was taking its time to investigate the scandal so that a watertight case will be made before prosecution.
And I assure you we are on the course. The government insists that this investigation must be concluded, and we should prosecute whoever is on one team because of his role. And we will also look at the economic analysis as contained in this report. We will constitute a committee that will digest whatever information is contained. And we will also extend if there are gray areas that need to be clarified. We will make sure we also extend our investigation.
Chairman of HIDA Resource Center, Olariwaju Suraju, a corruption hunter and one of the partners in the team that produced the findings on the OPL 245, commended the efforts of the EFCC in the fight against corruption. Suraju, who said they prepared the uncomplimentary finding to enable the Nigerian government to identify and punish the individuals and organizations involved in the oil scam, explained that all hands must be on deck to stop further stealing of the nation's oil revenue.
The expert already came up with an analysis and the report of that with very revealing findings and also stunning conclusions that shows that Nigeria actually never really benefited from that deal.
Suraj said it is the strong recommendation of HIDA that the partners of the OPL 245 license should be revoked, and now both have economic and legal basis to challenge the deal.
Corruption is dishonesty and illegal behavior by people in positions of trust. A public office is a public trust. Do not abuse positions of trust for private gains. Stay away from corruption. Nigeria is a great nation, and it is our responsibility to make the country greater. If you notice any act of corruption, please report to the EFCC via info@efccnigeria.org or call 09 904 4751 or 09 904 4752. You can also call 09 904 4753. This message is from the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) has signed a Memorandum of Understanding (MOU) with the International Police Interpol as part of collaboration aimed at tackling corruption in Nigeria. The MOU I-247 is a global police communication system that connects law enforcement officers in all member countries and enable users share sensitive and urgent police information with their counterparts around the globe, 24 hours a day and 365 days a year. Here are details of the signing.
While receiving the delegations led by Commissioner of Police Shola Subair, CP Interpol at the EFCC headquarters Jabi Abuja, Acting Chairman of EFCC Ibrahim Magu expressed his appreciation for the initiative, which he said will go a long way in checkmating activities of fraudsters across the globe and Nigeria in particular. The MOU, according to Magu, will further create a greater technical teamwork and allow EFCC to be connected to the 194 member countries of the organization. He stressed the need for some staff of the Commission to be seconded to Interpol so as to understudy how they operate. Magu added that the MOU will strengthen EFCC's efforts in areas of monitoring illegal assets.
We will use all the notices attached to the Interpol. We are already using them, and now that we are going for the extraditions of people outside this country, I think there's no better time to sign this. It's not like we are not being associated with the Interpol before this time. We will be associated with Interpol. I remember we had long before now.
CP Interpol, Shola Subair, who led the delegation, stressed the importance of Interpol-EFCC partnership as it would further strengthen the anti-corruption efforts of the anti-graft agency. He said, Interpol provides a wide range of policing expertise and capabilities supporting three main crime programs: counter-terrorism, cybercrime, organized and emergent crimes. He used the opportunity to explain how the database can be used in tracing the movement of looters in and out of the country, and also how this collaboration will give EFCC access to the 194 member countries of Interpol.
What brought us here today, which is the I-247, is a tool that is connected to all agencies, all law enforcement agencies. At the border, you can use it. Maritime border, you can use it. At your financial crime office, you can use it. So I want us to utilize the money you are paying very well. That is why we are here. So that every service provided by Interpol can be enjoyed by all the agencies in Nigeria.
Subair added that the Interpol is mobilizing for the enlistment of all law enforcement agencies in Nigeria and so had considered to kickstart the assignment with the EFCC.
Acting chairman of the EFCC, Ibrahim Mustafa Magu, has called on critical stakeholders in the Nigerian financial landscape to rally round the anti-graft agency in curbing illicit financial flows in the business sector. Magu gave the charge at the opening of a two-day workshop aimed at sensitizing self-regulatory bodies and trade associations in the designated non-financial businesses and professions DNFBPS. Kamali Gebi completes the story.
Magu, who was represented by the Director, Special Control Unit Against Money Laundering, SCUML, Bamanga Bello, noted that the workshop tagged effective implementation of AML-CFT measures in the DNFBP's sector in Nigeria was essential in creating awareness on the adverse effect of illicit financial flows on the Nigerian economy and to build capacity for the DNFBPs in Nigeria. He said the country is constantly faced with the devastating effects of money laundering and terrorism globally, and sadly, this includes Nigeria. The anti-graft boss stressed that it has been established that Nigeria is one of the most terrorized countries in the world, and the Global Terrorism Index (GTI), released in November 2017, ranked Nigeria as the third most terrorized country in the world, which also suggests high level of terrorist financing activities in Nigeria, as planning and execution of any act of terrorism requires funding. According to Magu, a lot needs to be done to change the narrative on the anti-corruption fight following the 2018 Corruption Perception Index (CPI), which was released by Transparency International and ranked Nigeria 148 out of 180 assessed countries, stressing that more work needs to be done. He therefore used the medium to call on all Nigerians to be proactive and join hands with the anti-graft agency in order to ensure a paradigm shift and kick corruption out of Nigeria.
It is aimed at sensitizing the designated non-financial institutions, particularly the self-reporting bodies in that sector and the trade associations, on the forthcoming mutual evaluation of Nigeria, which is coming up in September and October 2019.
In his remarks, Program Manager, Rule of Law and Anti-Corruption, ROLAC, Emmanuel Uche said the objective of the workshop was to sensitize the target audience on the reporting and compliance obligations under the Nigerian AML-CFT laws and regulations, and to enhance awareness on how such organizations could be used by money launderers and terrorist financiers to perpetrate their unscrupulous activities. He commended the EFCC for its efforts in combating illicit financial flows, noting that the EFCC is not one of the organizations in Nigeria that anyone can say is sleeping, and that the work done by EFCC through the Special Control Unit Against Money Laundering and the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit (NFIU) is very significant via the preventive measures such as the workshop.
Is to build their capacity to strengthen the anti-money laundering and anti-financing of terrorism regime in Nigeria.
Director NFIU, Francis Usani, who was represented by Head Monitoring and Analysis NFIU, Mustafa Abdulrahman, said fighting corruption is fighting a global battle, and the true victims of corruption may never know how much they have been shortchanged. He therefore advised that while looking at the global picture, everyone needs to participate in curbing the menace. Money laundering and terrorist financing are financial crimes with significant negative economic and security impacts, and no nation can prosper where money laundering and terrorist financing is endemic. The workshop was organized by SCUML in partnership with the British Council under ROLAC and is in preparation for the forthcoming Financial Action Task Force (FATF) Intergovernment Action Group Against Money Laundering in West Africa (GIABA) mutual evaluation of the Nigerian anti-money laundering, countering financing of terrorism AML-CFT regime to be held in September and October 2019. Participants at the forum include self-regulatory bodies such as the Nigerian Bar Association (NBA), Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria (ICAN), Association of National Accountants of Nigeria (ANAN), Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria (CITN), the Nigerian Institute of Estate Surveyors and Valuers (NIESV), Legal Practitioners Disciplinary Committee, Association of Professional Bodies of Nigeria (APBN), Housing Developers Cooperative Body, HDCS, Estate Surveyors and Registration Board of Nigeria, Nigeria Network of NGOs, among others.
Acting Chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Ibrahim Mustafa Magu, has warned that as another election cycle approaches, the Commission will not fold its hands and watch the nation's commonwealth be squandered by corrupt politicians. Magu made this known while presenting a paper at a one-day retreat of 36 state governors and key election stakeholders in Abuja. The retreat, with the theme Institutionalizing Transparency, Accountability and Anti-Corruption Issues in the Electoral Process in Nigeria, was organized by Center for Values in Leadership, CVL.
Magu, who spoke through the Secretary to the Commission, Olanipekun Olukoyede, said the EFCC shall keenly monitor the financial affairs of political parties to ensure that the use of public funds to finance political parties and campaigns at all levels of government is checked. He assured that henceforth, donations to political parties and the identities of the donors will be of massive interest to the Commission. Magu stressed that, to minimize corruption and the use of public funds to fund political parties and finance elections, there is need for greater effectiveness in enforcing the provisions of the various electoral laws in Nigeria, especially as it relates to penalties upon breach of their provisions. He further said political parties should be required to keep proper records of all incomes, contributions and expenditure, and to open their books for inspection by relevant security agencies after every electioneering cycle.
I'm pleased to know that one of the purposes of this retreat is to amplify stakeholders' engagement, conversations and understanding of issues that promote electoral integrity, good governance and democracy in Nigeria. As we strive for a free, fair and credible 2019 election, I hold the view that engagement with stakeholders in the governance value chain lies at the heart of any anti-corruption strategy targeting the public sector in Nigeria. So it is therefore my sincere hope that participants at this retreat will find the deliberations useful, another notch in our collective drive to sanitize the electoral process in Nigeria.
While acknowledging the work to be done is enormous, he explained that the EFCC cannot do it alone, but called on all Nigerians to share credible intelligence with the Commission on the activities of criminal politicians so that the tasks can be made easier. The anti-graft boss commended the Center for Values in Leadership, CVL, for providing a platform to share experiences on the subject of electoral process in Nigeria. According to him, anytime money is diverted by an administration to fund a political campaign, it is money already budgeted for an essential need which will never be met because of heartless and corrupt public officials. He explained that the money being misappropriated is either from health, security, education, road construction, personnel costs, or others. In his opening remarks, Rashid Adegbenro, Senior Vice President CVL, said the forum, which began in Lagos, was meant to sensitize the electorate on the coming elections. He said the preparation for the forum began in Lagos on September 15, 2018, when CVL organized a 7-kilometer road walk tagged Walk the Talk to sensitize the electorate on the coming elections and encourage them to collect their respective PVCs, having previously registered for same. The road walk admonished the electorate not to remain passive but register to vote during the elections. Adegbenro stressed that the huge success of the event was followed by special courtesy visits to some stakeholders in Abuja to emphasize and convey high expectation of the public concerning the 2019 general polls. Also speaking, the Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, who was represented by CP Kenneth Ebrimson, gave assurance that the Nigerian police force will ensure that the 2019 elections will be free and fair. He said, the police play a very vital role in any election process, and the Nigeria police force is ready to ensure that there is free, fair and credible 2019 general elections. The retreat had in attendance a presidential candidate, Professor Kingsley Moghalu, and the former Executive Director of Programs of the Nigerian Television Authority (NTA), Eugenia Abu, amongst others.
Students of the International Relations Department of Bafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, Osun State have been charged to be anti-corruption ambassadors and to own the anti-corruption fight for a better Nigeria. The charge was given to them during an excursion to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission Academy, Karo, Abuja. But before we take that report, let's take this on the call made by the acting EFCC chairman Ibrahim Magu to Nigerian youths to be good ambassadors at all times, as they are the future of Nigeria. Amina Kawa has details on this and the other report.
The acting chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission EFCC, Ibrahim Magu, has called on youth in the country to be change agents for the good of the society. Magu, who was represented by Head Public Affairs EFCC Ibadan Office, Ayo Oyewole, gave the charge at the NYC orientation camp in Isheyin, Oyo State. The EFCC boss urged the core members to be role models and change agents wherever they go in the course of their national service and beyond. Magu pointed out that the enduring success in the fight against economic crime, including corruption, can only be achieved when all stakeholders, particularly the youth, embrace this important cause and encourage them to own the fight.
I'm here this morning to talk to you about your roles, what you need to do, what we are expecting from you, what you can do as an individual to help in the fight, to help us lift the bar, to help us give corruption a very bloody nose. It is important for us to really listen and agree that the ball is in our court as youths to see whether we can actually deliver our country from that problem, from that albatross that is called corruption.
He encouraged them to join the EFCC NYSC Community Development Group, as this will avail them the opportunity to work with the advocacy arm of the Commission and be in a position to serve as change agents by helping to form the EFCC NYSC Integrity Clubs in primary schools to mold kids in schools across the nation. Also representing Magu at the NYSC orientation camp in Okada, Edo State, and Eshele Uku, Delta State, Mary Ogweleku used the opportunity of the anti-corruption sensitization walk on November 26 and 27, 2018 to charge the youth to shun corrupt practices. Ogweleku encouraged the youths to be role models in the fight against corruption and to be the foot soldiers of the Commission. Amina Kawa reporting for The Eagle. Students of the International Relations Department, Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, Osun State, have been charged to be anti-corruption ambassadors and to own the anti-corruption fight for a better Nigeria. The charge was given to them during an excursion to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission EFCC Academy, Karu, Abuja. Officer in charge, the Zero Tolerance Desk of the EFCC's Enlightenment and Reorientation Unit, Blessing Ekeleme, while receiving the students, noted that the Commission had a mandate to rigorously sensitize the public against economic and financial crimes. According to her, corruption had adversely affected our society at all fronts, and if people realize the level of degradation it has done to our society, they will take it seriously. Also speaking, Waima Okeanu of the EFCC's Creative Communication Unit, in her presentation titled Role and Challenges in Nigerians' War Against Corruption, intimated the students about the activities of the EFCC, laying emphasis on the agency's experience in fighting corruption. She stressed that success in the fight against economic and financial crimes can only be achieved when all stakeholders, particularly the youth, embrace the fight. She further urged the students to be part of the EFCC's effort in the anti-corruption fight and urged them to imbibe the culture of hating economic crimes and corruption in any form so that the nation can take back its pride of place in the world. Also speaking, Babashan Sanda of the Legal and Prosecution Department encouraged the students to be law-abiding in their dealings as advance fee fraud and cybercrime cases were mostly committed by their peers. He enlightened the students on the EFCC Establishment Act and the special powers of the Commission, stressing that the EFCC has the power to investigate all cases of economic and financial crimes and advised them not to be found wanting. Responding, the coordinator of the visiting students, Head Department of International Relations, Dr. Kainde Olayode, thanked the EFCC for accepting their request for the visit and promised to be anti-corruption ambassadors by establishing zero-tolerance clubs in the university. Amina Kawa reporting for The Eagle.
And with that, we have come to the end of today's episode of The Eagle. You too can be part of this program by sending your inquiries and suggestions to The Eagle at efccnigeria.org, or search for us on Google Plus at Official EFCC or Official EFCCNG@gmail.com. You can like our page on facebook.com/Official EFCC or follow us on Twitter at Official EFCC. And of course, you can visit our page on Instagram at Official EFCC. To watch our programs and other activities, please log on to youtube.com/Official EFCC. My name is Aisha Muhammad. See you next week, same time, same station. From all of us in the studio, it's goodbye and God bless Nigeria.